All right, the DNC freak show is in full effect, and as these nutballs get up and give speeches and tear down fences and commit acts of vandalism and violence, we will be here laughing and mocking them every single step of the way this week. Rest assured on that. Of course, there's big speeches tonight. Barack and Michelle Obama speak. Walz and Harris will come later on this week. You know how all this goes. But I want to lead off with a clip maybe you haven't even seen yet. But I'm going to pause on that for a moment. You know about the Japanese in World War II, how brutal they were. And when they would conquer a place, occupy a place, they were just terrible to the people. There was a real racial superiority thing. They thought they were above all of them. But part of the reason there was such intense hatred for the Japanese was their culture was in so many ways so much different than other people's culture. I'm going somewhere with this, stay with me. So for instance, in the Philippines, when the Japanese took over the Philippines, there ended up being a vicious, wonderful Philippine resistance movement. Spies, saboteurs, blowing up Japanese stuff, assassinating Japanese people. It's this huge, it's a wonderful story a lot of people don't know about. Why was there such a robust movement in the Philippines? Well, one of the many reasons was this. In Japanese culture at the time, physically slapping somebody, especially other men, was very common. In the military especially, it was just how things were done. You just rap somebody right across the face. It's how things were done. And when they were in charge of others or wanted people to do things, they would do that, slap people a lot. In Filipino culture, there's a whole Latino base there, a variety of reasons, but a slap was considered almost the ultimate affront. If you were to slap a man in Filipino culture, he would hate you for the rest of his life. So you have essentially two completely different cultures, two completely different languages. And to a Japanese person at the time, they wouldn't even understand, why is this guy hanging on to this whole thing? He wants me and my whole family dead because I slapped him. I don't get it. And to the Filipino guy, he's looking at the Japanese guy saying, how could you insult me in such a way? I'll murder you for that. Let's go to American politics. I've warned you about this before. I'm going to warn you again. When Democrats speak, they're not speaking to you. You, me, we want everyone to speak to us. Try to appeal to me, earn my vote, sound like a normal person. But Democrats are communists. Communists believe in rewarding their friends and punishing their enemies. That's how they think about life. And for the communist, he simply looks at demographics as to figure out who his best friends are and who he needs to appeal to. So if you're an American Democrat at any level, Senate, president, down to city council, here's what you know for a fact. You know this for a fact. Married men vote Republican, percentage-wise. Married women vote Republican. Single men vote Republican. But then there's single women. 68% of single women vote Democrat. It's overwhelming. And they vote Democrat almost every time. 58% of those, I should point out, have already been diagnosed with mental illness. Those are the ones who've been diagnosed. The beating heart of American communism is single liberal women on anti-anxiety medication. That's not just something I say for laughs or something. That's the truth. And Democrats understand this. Let me ask you something. Do you know any women like this? You ever met a woman like that? Of course you have, because they're everywhere. They're absolutely everywhere. You can't get away from them. The one who walks in the party, her eyes are bugged out, and you guys are just sitting there discussing the kids. I can't believe my kid made varsity, and she comes over and says, I just had an abortion. I hate Trump. You know exactly who these people are. She's the one on Facebook 24 hours a day. My anxiety is spiking. I wish you'd keep the noise down. You know these people, right? So picture that insane, single, liberal, nutjob woman in your life. Now, when I play this next clip for you, this is Minnesota Lieutenant Governor. Her name's Peggy. I swear on my life I didn't make that up. I always joke about liberal Aunt Peggy. This woman's name is actually Peggy. And when you listen to this woman in this little clip speak, you're going to roll your eyes, throw up in the trash can, maybe chuck your phone across the room that these people hold power. And I understand all of those things. But you need to understand, and I need to always remember, they're not trying to speak to me. That liberal Aunt Peggy in your life, as you're rolling your eyes here, she loves it.
My name in the Ojibwe language is Gigi Wewadam Ukwe, or in English, speaks with a clear and loud voice woman. I'm a member of the White Earth Nation, and my family is the Wolf Clan. And the role of our clan is to ensure that we never leave anyone behind. That's why I am supporting Kamala Harris and Tim Walz to be the next president and vice president of the United States.
Sorry. I know they're nuts. That woman's insane. And what kind of person would want to hear something like that? Who in the crowd is cheering something like that? Mentally ill women. That's who. That's who they speak to. Look, when Communist John Denver, she's known as Randy Weingarten, when she's doing her speechifying, and you're sitting there and you're plugging your ears, just saying, oh my gosh, make it stop. Crazy liberal white woman loves it.
Anything is important, whether it's wages or a dignified retirement or education opportunity or college without crushing debt or family leave or health care or housing. Any of the things that are important every single day, we need to fight to get Kamala Harris and Tim Walz elected.
Oh, it's hard to listen to. For me, for you. Liberal women on anti-anxiety meds, I love it. That same liberal woman who walks into a Mexican restaurant on a Friday and hits the waiter with the gracias and feels a little bit ethnic when she does it, she heard AOC speak and she loved this.
And I, for one, am tired of hearing about how a two-bit union buster thinks of himself as more of a patriot than the woman who fights every single day to lift working people out from under the boots of greed, trampling on our way of life.
What do you want me to tell you? They're crazy. And finally, to wrap this up, when Joe Biden sells easily verifiable lies like the Charlottesville lie, you roll your eyes, you scream at the television, you say that's been already debunked, it's on camera, none of this is true. But your liberal Aunt Peggy doesn't know that because she's insane and lives in a world of make-believe. So when Joe Biden says this, she believes it.
When the president was asked what he thought had happened, Donald Trump said, and I quote, "There are very fine people on both sides. My God." That's what he said. That is what he said and what he meant. He called them suckers and losers. Who in the hell does he think he is? Who does he think he is? In the pandemic, Kamala and I helped states and cities get back their schools back open. In the pandemic.
Yeah. A world of make-believe. I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're going to start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.